Hello, wild ones. This is Cole Adams, and this book is Tamera LaPorte's life book. I heard about Tamera, I actually took a couple of her classes from Sketchbook Revival, and I got her book checked out from the library. Starting this art journal page with fussy cutting this gel plate print out. If you love a gel plate print coloring, but you don't necessarily, you didn't get a really clear border, always think about fussy cutting. And I hold my scissors steady and move the paper into the scissors, and that's how I like to do it. I thought those bubbles would make really cool clouds. So this tutorial from the Life book, Create Your Life book by Tamera LaPorte, it starts with you writing a letter to your youngest self, and you're also supposed to collect a picture of yourself from way back, which I did, of me lying in my baby crib instead of cleaning up my playroom, which feels really true now as it did then. So, you're supposed to make a simple shape of a house, and my family, my Aunt Judy has a cabin out on Hood Canal, and so I did this double A-frame shape as my house for my younger self, and it was a piece of paper that I cut and then realized I had done this really cool colored pencil texture on the other side, and it makes it perfect because those will flap open, and it kind of looks like tie-dye. So now I'm going in and collaging inside the house, and that's the little picture of me laying down. And I found these monarch butterflies in a book I had kind of gutted, so they were from book pages. And I was thinking about using that green background, but I thought I needed better colors. So I'm looking through some jelly plate prints and little scraps of jelly plate prints, and I found some more stuff to play with. So when I'm thinking about collage, I'm often just thinking about kind of background, foreground, and adding some contrast, although this 1970s picture is pretty saturated. It's that like kind of olivey green tones and different things. So I think this orange piece that has this Matisse inspired cutout on it, it really was just a scrap that was already pre-cut. So I kind of love how that looks over the top of my little head. And I'm going in with an Oohoo stick. I've been working, I don't usually use glue sticks. I'm usually a strictly wet gluer. But the Oohoo, I'm thinking about using those with the kids this fall. So I've been wanting to practice and see how much I like it and just be able to explain to them how to use it. And obviously I'm using it a little inappropriately here by gluing on the surface I'm working on, but I knew I was going to cover those spots up that I was working over the top of. So I like how this looks so far, and I'm getting ready to do, see, now I'm going to do it right. Brought in some scratch paper. Good job, Cole. And I'm gluing in little baby Cole. And I'm really liking how that green looks above my head. And I think it looks great inside the little home I created. So now I'm going to pull out my gouache palette. Oh, I'm going to do some acrylic markering first, just to kind of blend. I always like to do a little ink work over the top of collage pieces, to kind of scooch them together and blend them together. And I'm going to do some of these hearts up the side, and now I'm into the gouache palette. So I had these hearts that I had drawn on coming out of my chimney. Actually, I think Tamera had drawn those as well. I just thought that was a beautiful little nod to her work. So I have this little chimney, and I'm going to put these hearts coming out of it. I decided to make the background of this piece all this kind of pinky orange color. And my aunt's cabin is called the Blue House, so the house has to be turquoise blue, and light blue, kind of turquoisey color. And I love how this is turning out. I am really loving working with gouache. If you haven't given it a shot, I think of it as a just really opaque watercolor, and it has such a matte finish. I like how acrylic paint pens go over the top of it, and I really like kind of streaky finishes that you get. It dries very, very quickly as well, so that's kind of fun. I'm just gonna splash some other colors in there. It was just a little too straight for me, so just throw in a little bit of something, something. Check it out one more time. Now I'm going to take that same pink, and I wrote my letter with a woody stick, and those are water soluble. So this writing is going to kind of melt in beautifully and make this really interesting pattern. I like that I kind of dry brushed it in a few spots, so some of the background you can read just a little bit as we kind of work forward. But I love that those words live in there and exist in the piece itself, but do it from a kind of sly place. So now I have glued that house down, and now I'm starting to work with some more acrylic pens. I feel like the piece that came out the top looked very much like a sun shape, and I thought that the sun on one side of the house and clouds on the other side would be very indicative of the northwest weather. So I thought it'd be fun to play with those two sides. So now I'm taking some woodies and using those in these sunbeams. I really like how childlike this looks, and how all these tools really feel like play. Sometimes having a vast array of playful dry items really gets me in that loose spirit. These are those bubble clouds from the beginning, and because this is on wet strength tissue, it's really going to become see-through as I glue it in. And I'm not sure it does that as well with the Uhu stick as if it was a wet piece, but I did like how quickly that went in. I'm recapturing those hearts, and now I'm using a Just Art acrylic brush tip pen to outline the cabin shape. And I'm going to go down this cut edge to really indicate the opening. Now I'm going to embellish a little bit with this thicker pen, and I think I probably switched to a thinner pen at some point. I leave these little hearts dripping down, or not hearts, stars dripping down. The Blue House is also kind of infamous for owls, so I drew a little owl in on the edge. And now I've pulled out some fabric, some teeny tiny scraps of fabric that I'm going to make a pennant with that goes all the way across the cabin. And I'm actually going to have another little piece up in that corner on top of the cloud. I think that would be cool. I really love how fabric sits against watercolor paper, and really I love the textural feel of it when the book is done. So I use Fabri-Tac to glue all of that down. Now I'm just double checking that I didn't put that opening right on the fold line for some unknowable reason, Cole. What were you thinking? So now I have to fold one of the flaps back, but I think I made it work. It was just a silly choice. Now I'm going in with a white pen. This is a gel pen. It's working okay on this gouache, but, oh, pardon me, not great. So I'm just going over kind of the black lines to lighten them up and make them a little bit more sketchy. I'm thinking about adding white to the inside, but I just end up going into the hearts and reclaiming some light spaces in there. All the other touches didn't work real well with the light pen, so now I pulled out a gold pen, and I really like how that turned out. I'm going to just write comfort because that was one of the words that I came back to again and again. That was one of my best giftings, is providing, making people really feel comfortable in the spaces I inhabit. So now I've got a little bit smaller pen, doing a little bit more embellishment. This is that gold pen. So I'm going to make all the stars glitter. I did a little bit more paint pen, and this is the final result. So there's my little owl. My heart's coming out. I love how the pennants turned out. And I think little Cole would be proud of us. I love how she just is so chill inside her little happy, protected home. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe if you are. And thank you, Tamera. And take care of yourself, each other, and this earth.